You have vodka. Oh dear, oh dear. So he smacked into him. Turn the camera on and something will happen. AH0785. And this guy, sometimes it can be quite useful to be filming 53790X7. So, are they calm? Well, they seem to be calm. Obviously the guy at fault is the guy that bashed into the back of this guy, because you can't exactly say that unless he was reversing, of course, but he didn't seem to be when obviously I didn't film that. I didn't film whether he was reversing or not, but clearly he's managed to deal him quite a blow. Надо немножко смотреть на это. Я не знаю, если это дизель или что. Жидкость, да?
Водитель Honda. Я водитель. Если надо, регистратор записи есть. Сейчас
чтобы не было здесь никакая вот эксплозия, да? Это не бензина.
Это не бензин, это охлаждающая жидкость.
А, понятно. Ну, тогда хорошо. Anyway, they're going to sort it out. Nobody got hurt, that's the main thing, and they're all quite calm, so there's no need to make a big what's it out of a situation like that. They happen, you know, and it's only metal. Yeah, for these guys, cars are a big part of their lives because they're expensive compared to what they can earn, but at the same time there's also people in this country that would be more than happy to spend the time it takes to actually push these things back into shape again and mend them, rather than spend a load of money to get a factory made new one. So it makes it easy for them to take that not as a great big tragedy that's going to affect them for the rest of their lives, but just as, oh dear, not such a great day today after all, kind of thing. They were all quite, I just wanted to make sure that we weren't going to get a fuel leak and then somebody go toss their cigarette into it, but he's pretty sure that it's not petrol coming out, just the water from the radiator, which in itself isn't going to be too great for him, because he's going to obviously not be able to drive his car away from there if the radiator's gone and started a big leak. More of these casualties. 你好吗？很好，很好。Lots of Mandarin getting spoken all over the place. I'm just filming what I see on the walk, and whatever comes out of this will just be put up in 10-minute chunks or whatever, so that you can enjoy it without feeling that you need to watch like 20 or 30 minutes at once, which is what I used to do a long time ago. And this person just walked straight into me. It's funny. Maybe they can't see. Actually, that is one thing that I've noticed. Either it's me, and either it's because of me and my new glasses or something, or we're not sleeping enough or something. Oh, here we go. Mireille Mathieu's coming here. She doesn't look like that now, but she, nevertheless. On the 10th of March, doesn't say what year, judging by the photograph at some years back, but nevertheless, starts at 17 photos. Yeah, I won't have a lot of time to get the best of the light, of course, but like I was just about to say, everything seems very dark. just noticed it first off, just coming out through the airport. First thing is that first thing that I noticed was that was that the architecture in the airport coming through is really quite strange. It sort of looked like everything was flat, but then when you walked along it, you could see that the floor was actually tilting, which is a bit disconcerting. And other things, the ceilings seem very low and long and coming down, so it looks as though you're going to hit your head on them, but actually when you got there you discovered it was higher. And everything was dark, even though at that time it was the middle of the day. They just hadn't bothered to properly light the place up. And again, within the hotel now, I discovered that it also has a kind of dingy appearance. Everything's really, nice, but just the understated lighting means that it's almost like being in a cave. Right now, of course, it being after 5 o'clock in the middle of November, it's actually today the 11th of November, the day when we remember the end of the First World War, but there's no real appearance of remembering that here. This country only really came about after the end of the Second World War. That woman's walking along just with a basket of balloons in her hand for no apparent reason. And I don't mean balloons that are pumped up, I mean empty balloons. Balloons that are virginal state balloons. Georgi Zaborski obviously lived there, wherever he is. With my colleague on the way here, we're on Vulitsa Lenin. I've already commented about the initial V appearing in some Slavonic languages if there's an U there or an O. Also if there's an I. On changes in Ukrainian to Vin. So he, on in Russian, is Vin, or Vina is she. So it's quite a frequently observed aspect, that one. I have no idea whether I'm seeing the best stuff. I'm just taking random stuff to look at and hoping that that will be to a degree of interest. I mean, obviously the thing where I am, it exists, it's there, it's central, so even if it's not the best stuff, it's part of what there is here, part of what people who live here have as their lives, and that's what we're interested in on this channel. We're not a tourism channel, but we're an understanding the world channel, so which is not what tourism is necessarily about. Tourism takes you to a rose-tinted version of the world where you see pretty things. And you might get other kinds of tourism, like slum tourism, that takes you to deliberately the opposite of that, a version of the world where you see the nastiest things. Some people go for that kind of tourism. But this is about whatever happens. I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what's going to be around the corner. I don't know if what's around the next corner is going to be something great or something completely useless. I don't know if I'm going to get arrested for filming it. Here we are. I didn't know that there was going to be a lion here, and what that other thing is, it a dog or something? Or is it even a lion? It's got a mane on it. Oh, it's two lions. And they're fighting snakes. And I didn't know that was going to be here. I didn't know there was going to be a lion with its heel bruising, or its foot bruising the serpent's head. The lion of the tribe of Judah bruising the head of the serpent. We know what that refers to. Grand Cafe is the place. It does look very grand, I have to say. Just another look around the corner here. This is obviously a nice square. Not sure what it is, what the buildings are that are here. People can tell me if they want to. I'm happy to find out that way. But and there's another one, another lion of the tribe of Judah. bruising the serpent's head. They're not exactly symmetrical, they're just two versions of the same idea. And of course I can go down there. This is called Vulitsa Internationalnaya. It might be well worth doing it. This guy here is called Chatsvernikov, Vitaly Pavlovich Chatsvernikov. So, уваход z dvara. You see, it should be iz dvara should be with an O in Russian, iz dvara. But here they have z dvara, and because they've taken the stress off the O, they changed it into an A, as they would of course in Russian, but here they've also changed the spelling of it. It makes Belarusian easy from the point of view of knowing where the stress lies, of course, in those words, but it only helps those where you're de-stressing an O. For the other kind of vowels which are being de-stressed, you don't get any further help at all. So it doesn't quite make up for the lack of etymological clues which you're losing if you change the O to the A. Of course, Russian still exists and is there to tell you what the word really is. But it just makes, I'm sorry to say this of course, because there'll be Belarusians watching this and they might not like this, what I'm saying, but it makes the language look more artificial. And we do know that Stalin, of course Belarusian language existed before, but it existed as a lot of different dialects, dissimilar to each other, and not spoken necessarily as or we know very for certain that it wasn't spoken as the majority language over the whole of the terrain which is now called Belarusia. We know that it was vying for attention for people with things like Polish in this territory. Minsk was of course originally a Polish city, part of Poland, Lithuania, Poland. There was Lithuanian spoken in the area as well, of course. Lots of Russian, lots of Yiddish, and also Belarusian, and something called Polski dialect was spoken around some parts of the territory too. And Hebrew was spoken to a greater or lesser extent, but the language of the Jews was more at that time Yiddish. So it's very interesting, isn't it? Teatr Pobjeda, victory, Kina Teatr. This is in Belarusian. Compare please now the spelling in Russian, which is on the other side there. I'll show you both, if I can. Pobjeda, that's the Russian anyway, that word. And then Kina Teatr, with the I giving the game away that it's a Belarusian spelling. And then here, the standard Russian spelling of Kina Teatr, which is cinema. There's Tapas Bar over there, and the majority of these Manamach magazine, majority of these places do seem to have Russian in preference to Belarusian. So if you look at what is written up, it's a kind of complete mixture. If you were learning Russian, this would not be your best option to come to get a nice clean Russian, because you'd be picking up, they don't say, hey by the way boys, you're now looking at Belarusian, you have to know one or another languages to know which is which. So if you're just a learner and you came here to pick up Russian, for example, well, you'd get infected with Belarusianisms because you'd be picking them up all the time at the same time as picking up Russian. And you wouldn't know necessarily, if you're a learner, what was what. Some of the reasons I'm very cautious when I go to Slovakia, because that's a similar thing, of course. I pick up, I can understand the good old Slovakian, but I don't want to get too used to it because it'll start infecting my Czech, and I won't speak Czech very well because the Slovakian will get in. So there we are, and I've managed to come to a place where there's not a great deal of action going on, and run out of off the end of my stream, haven't I think. Oh no, I was going to say something. There's something I was going to say which I will say. What I was talking about with my friend on the way in from the airport. That's a long ride, by the way. That's nearly, it's over half an hour to get in from the airport. So and it's an interesting journey. But basically, one of the things we said was that it's not a good idea. I mean, he wasn't very forthcoming on what he thought of matters, but I think he nodded and said he agreed with this. But I stated my view that, because there is more actually of it here than in Russia, of actually naming streets still after revolutionary people and what have you. I said that it's a bad thing to change those names back, unless it was something where the communists simply had changed something before that had a name, a historic name, they changed it. But if it's something which was built in the communist period and put together during that period, it should retain the name that they gave it, even if that name doesn't. Hi. Even if that name doesn't. Hi. Hi.
Hi, ik
Hi.
ga in Belarus.
Yes, Belarus. Yes, great place, fantastic place. Yeah, excellent, marvelous.
Good?
Very good. Very good. Kalilaska. Yeah.
People good.
Yes, people very good. People very good, especially ladies. Yes. Very good. My wife.